Back when I was 18, senior year felt like a blur of games, late-night practices, and whispered dreams of the future. That season, our softball team was stronger than ever. We were invited to Las Vegas for an invitational tournament, a chance that felt like destiny. We stayed in a hotel, only 15 minutes from the city lights. From our window, the neon glow painted the horizon, while the hallway outside our room was wrapped in silence. 4 of us, me and 3 close friends, claimed a room together. Bags scattered, laughter echoing, the air buzzing with teenage excitement. By 9 o'clock, we were winding down, trying to force ourselves to sleep before the early game the next morning. I remember drifting half into a dream. When it happened, the phone rang. Not a cell phone, not the coach, the landline in our hotel room. Its shrill ring pierced the silence, yanking us all back into wakefulness. We stared at each other, unsure. I reached for it. My hand trembled slightly as I pressed the receiver to my ear. Who even calls a hotel room phone anymore? "Hello?" My voice was barely steady. A whisper answered. "Low, male. You haven't paid for this room. One of you needs to come down to the lobby. Now." My heart kicked against my ribs. I knew it was false. I had seen our coach pay. I had seen the keys handed over. I tried to argue. We paid. I watched it happen. The whisper ignored me. His tone sharpened. "Just one of you. Come down alone," or else the threat hung in the air like a knife. My friends sat upright in their beds, eyes wide, lips pressed shut. The air grew heavy, suffocating. Then, a sound. From the hallway, a floorboard creaked. Slow, intentional. We held our breath. No one moved. The phone was still in my hand, but the line had gone silent. We unplugged the phone, pushed the chair under the door handle, sat in silence, counting every creak, every shadow. The night dragged on. None of us slept. Every shift of the air felt like someone breathing beside us. Morning came, bright sun, busy hallways, the world pretending nothing had happened. But even now, years later, I still hear that whisper in the dark. If you enjoyed this chilling tale, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. I was 14, old enough to feel brave, young enough to be wrong. Colorado snow wrapped the resort like a hush, white, endless, watchful. We were 4 siblings, me, an older brother, a younger brother, and our little sister, 7, small and bright as a match in winter. Second night at the hotel, steam and cedar, a sauna that breathed like a beast. We sat wrapped in heat, joking about tomorrow's ski runs, while the storm whispered against the glass. 30 minutes drifted by. Hunger crawled in. My older brother suggested a quick trip upstairs for snacks. We chose the worst option. We sent our little sister alone. I remember the door closing, the latch clicking, the way my chest tightened anyway. Silence, steam, the soft thud of water on tile. Then footsteps, small, running, growing louder down the hallway. She burst back inside, breath in tatters, eyes shiny with panic. "A man," she gasped, "following me." We froze. And then we looked. Beyond the sauna's one-way window, the pool area lay in hushed blue light. Empty, almost. A shape paced near the loungers, bent shoulders, a slow, dragging gait. He wore layers, coats over coats, like someone dressed for a blizzard, not a swim. His head turned, listening for something, maybe for the little footsteps that ran. My older brother stood. My younger brother followed. I stayed near our sister, hand on her shoulder, feeling how small her bones were under my fingers. The man drifted closer, his reflection warping across the glass, breath fogging, a pale smear. He couldn't see us, not through the one-way tint, but he could sense the heat, sense the life inside. He reached for the sauna door. Metal hissed, wood clicked, the seal broke with a sigh. The door swung open, heat poured out, and we met his eyes. He froze. 4 of us, not one, not small, not alone, no words, no apology, only a brief, startled flicker. Then the door closed. We watched him cross the tiles, past the exit sign, out of the pool doors, and then out of the building itself. Silence again, but different now. A silence that listened back. We hurried upstairs, damp footprints fading behind us, hearts punching the walls of our ribs. Our parents listened, anger first, fear second, then the phone calls to the front desk. Security swept the halls. Cameras were checked. No guest matched that coat, that walk, that hollow stare. Guilt still sits with me, a small weight, a cold coin in the pocket of memory. What if she hadn't run? What if we hadn't looked? I tell myself this when winter comes and the wind scrapes the glass. Monsters fear numbers, doors, and light. I picked the wrong hotel for a Friday night, the kind of address taxi drivers warn you about. Neon flickered over cracked sidewalks, a broken heartbeat in pink and blue. Business trip, budget room, thin walls that breathed. I'd just crawled back from a meeting that bled into the night. Another meeting early morning, a clock already shouting inside my head. Sleep, I told myself. Try, just try. I lay down, stiff sheets, air that smelled like old carpet and lemon cleaner. Minutes dragged, then an hour, the ceiling a blank white ocean above me. My mind kept replaying handshakes, slides, names I'd forget by Monday. I reached for a podcast, the familiar voices that usually hush the noise. Headphones on, volume low, darkness settling like a heavy coat. Finally, eyelids heavier, thoughts untying. Sleep came like a shy visitor, feet soft on the carpet of my mind, somewhere far away. A knock barely louder than a breath. I surfaced, not fully awake, not fully gone. 2 a.m., the red digits whispered when I checked the clock. I slipped the headphones off. The world widened. The sound grew. Not the podcast, not the room above. Ground floor doesn't have above. I lay back down, pretending to ignore it, as if pretense could lock a door. 30 seconds later, clarity like a blade. It wasn't knocking, it was metal shifting, a tongue in a keyhole. The lock, easing forward, sliding back, testing my room's last small trust. I sat up, pulse climbing the stairs of my throat. The hallway beyond the door held its breath. I stood. The carpet swallowed my steps. The door trembled again. Someone was on the other side, and they were patient. I reached for the chain latch I'd slid into place without thinking earlier. That small choice, heavier than it looked. I turned, crossed to my suitcase, remembering a habit formed on lonely roads. 14 rounds of certainty nestled in cold metal. I didn't want to fight, only a chance to keep breathing. I came back to the door, listening, counting the spaces between the sounds. The lock twisted, a quiet, deliberate sigh of surrender. The handle eased down. The world narrowed to a rectangle of shadow. The door opened, an inch, 2, and then stopped. The chain held, the smallest fortress, and through that slit, a hand slid in. Slow, certain, searching. It groped for the latch, for the end of calm. I lifted the barrel straight ahead, breath locked, mind empty except for yes or no. Stop. My voice surprised me, steady as a line drawn with a ruler. The hand froze, then footsteps, quick and fading, the hallway swallowing them whole. Silence rushed back like cold water. I slid the door shut again, locked everything that could be locked, and only then I started shaking. I stood there, ear to the wood, counting the emptiness. The latch was a thin bone in a hungry jaw. Behind the door, the hallway ticked, the exit sign hummed, The ice machine coughed 3 rooms away. I waited. Patience is sometimes a weapon. I pictured the face I hadn't seen, the eyes, the practiced hands, not drunk, not lost, purposeful. The door had opened smooth, like it had opened for him before. I breathed in, slow, listened for the return of footsteps. Nothing. I imagined keys on a ring, a thin tool, a grin you only wear in darkness. I set the safety, kept the barrel pointed low, and peered through the gap between curtain and frame. The parking lot slept in sodium orange. A stray dog crossed. A shopping cart rolled a foot, then stopped as if scolded. At the far end of the hallway, a figure paused by the ice machine. He faced away, hoodie up, hands in pockets that weren't empty. He glanced back, not at me, at the sequence of doors, counting. Then he moved on, casual, like a tide that would come back when the moon said so. I pressed my forehead to the cool glass and let it steal some heat from me. 9 months later, I would still feel that glass. But in that moment, I needed a plan. Call the front desk. Call 911. I pictured explaining the sound, the hand, the narrow miracle of a chain. Every second I hesitated, his shadow lengthened somewhere. I stepped back, scanned the room like a battlefield. Furniture for barricades, chair wedged under handle, suitcase against the base, bathroom door open, tiles bright, mirror watching. I clicked the TV on low, a murmur of life, one more illusion of occupancy. Then I stood in the center of it all, heartbeat and electricity, the only music. A minute, 2. The door did not move. I finally spoke, to the empty room, to the version of me who thought he was brave. "If you come back," I whispered, "I won't hesitate." The words steadied me. Then, another sound, not at the door, down the hall, a door opening. Soft, a woman's voice, fast, then cut off. Footsteps hurried, deeper voices, then quiet, a quiet that tasted wrong. I reached the peephole, empty tunnel. The hallway stretched, a throat waiting to speak. I should have called. I know that now, but fear makes decisions at a different speed. I slid the deadbolt again, pressed the chain to make sure, listened until my ears ached. When the key scraped my lock again, it was gentle, practiced, patient. The handle pressed, the chain caught, the door kissed open and stopped. Through the gap, the same hand entered, no shake, no fear. 2 fingers reached for the chain slide. "Gun," I said, voice low, factual, a weather report from a storm's eye. The fingers paused, like they were thinking, like they were counting how much my life was worth to them. "I will use it." Silence, then retreat. Steps, fast this time. The door swung back to its frame. The chain sighed. What I didn't know then, what I only learned later from a local news clip, was that a prisoner had slipped custody that night 2 blocks away. And he liked doors that almost opened. I stayed standing, lungs burning, until the hallway gave me nothing more. I made the calls after. Front desk first, then the police, reports, descriptions. The shape of a hand becomes a story when you survive it. By sunrise, the city pretended nothing had happened. Cars yawned awake. Coffee steamed from paper cups. I packed slowly, each click of the zipper a prayer. I looked at the latch. Small, scratched, heroic. People say you never know what you'll do until it happens. They're right, and they're wrong. You know the pieces of you that won't break. My hands found steadiness I didn't know I owned. I was ready, not for heroics, only for living. 9 months later, I still see the chain in my sleep. Sometimes it's thin as thread. Sometimes it's iron. Either way, it holds. If there's a lesson, it's simple. Lock the small things. Listen when the night whispers. And when the door moves, let your courage move faster. If you enjoyed this chilling tale, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.